Greetings, motorcycle enthusiasts. Today we're going to take apart a Honda NTV650 carburetor, and to do this we're going to need the following tools: a small, sturdy flashlight, a 10mm T-handle wrench or a socket, a 7mm box and wrench, a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver, and then a bunch of flathead screwdrivers of various sizes, and this special little tool that we made we used a paper clip, and I'm going to show you later on how to use that. Let's start with a flow chamber. I removed the hoses beforehand, but I recommend also taking a photo so you remember exactly where everything goes when you put it all back together. And take a shot of this clamp right here so you know where that goes as well. And now we can remove the float chamber cover, and that's held in place with these 4 Phillips head screws. And once these screws have been removed, go ahead and carefully lift that cover. And here you can see that the cover as well as the gasket has been glued really tight with a sealant, so you'll have to remove all of that. And now we can go ahead and remove the float, which is attached with a small pin. Go ahead and push the PIN to the side, and that's going to release the float. So now you can go ahead and remove the float, and here you can see how the float needle valve actually hangs from the float. And now this float needle valve slides right off that small little metal tongue. Now let's go ahead and move on to the inlet valve, which is threaded, and for this we're going to need the 10mm T-handle wrench. Make sure that you have a socket that's actually narrow enough to be able to slide into these small little tight spaces. And here's what the inlet valve actually looks like. It has a seal, and in the back you'll find this filter, which obviously helps keep the dirt out of the fuel. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to the jets, and this right here is going to be your idle jet. And here's the main jet along with a jet holder. I'm going to go ahead and start by removing the idle jet, and make sure that you use the right tool. That way you avoid damaging the jets. And here you can see what the idle jet actually looks like. Now let's go ahead and remove the main jet from the jet holder, and for that you can go ahead and use the 7mm box and wrench. You can also actually leave the main jet in the holder, and then later on you can go ahead and remove it with a suitable flathead screwdriver. And here you can see what the main jet looks like. And now we're going to go ahead and remove the jet holder with a 7mm box and wrench. And here we can see what the jet holder actually looks like. And now we're going to go ahead and continue on to the side right here with the air cut valve cover. Underneath this screw, there's a shaped piece, and that's going to hold this tube in place. So while you're unscrewing the cover, make sure you hold it down with your fingers because there's a high tension screw right underneath that, and well, you want to be careful. And now we can go ahead and carefully lift that cover up. And now you can easily remove that spring. And here's the diaphragm. Go ahead and inspect it for damage, and make sure it retains its shape, because it may have shrunk over time. And here you can see a small seal. Make sure that you remove that as well. We're going to continue with the vacuum cover, and that's held in place with 4 Phillips screws. I'm going to undo these, and again I'm going to hold my finger on the cover, because there's another spring underneath that one too. With the screws removed, I can now carefully lift that cover up. And now you can go ahead and easily remove that spring. And here you've got the membrane, and be sure to check it for damage, and also check to see if it's retained its shape, because sometimes they shrink over time. And now we can go ahead and pull out that slider. And if you take a look inside here, you can see a little plastic part. Now you got to remove that as well in order to take out the needle. And now you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver to undo this little plastic part. And now you can go ahead and let that partial load needle fall right out of the slider, and this is what it's going to look like. And now we're going to go ahead and continue with the air mixture screw, which you can find right here. All right, so in order to get the air mixture screw out, we're going to need a flathead screwdriver because the notches aren't deep enough for a Phillips head. And here is the air mixture screw with a spring attached to it. And now we're going to go ahead and need that little makeshift hook that we made out of a paper clip to get the remaining small little bits and pieces out of there. And now would be good time to go ahead and use that small, powerful little flashlight you've got. And here you can see that small washer and that O-ring. All right, so here's that washer, and now all we got to do is get that O-ring out. So that's took a little while, but here at long last is that O-ring. And now the carburetor is ready to luxuriate in its ultrasonic bubble bath. I hope you enjoyed the disassembly process. Please subscribe to my channel to support me for free, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up to let YouTube know you liked the video. Until the next video.